At 5:30 a.m. local time, deep in the Sea of Azov, a Russian Buyan-M corvette armed with 8 Kalibr cruise missiles was preparing to unleash firepower on Ukrainian cities. For the crew, it seemed like another quiet mission. But within seconds, that calm would collapse into chaos. Unbeknownst to them, 7 Ukrainian drones were already closing in. The lead Rybaka surged forward at over 400 kilometers per hour, just as Russian checkpoint guns roared awake. Tracer rounds lit up the dawn sky, each 23mm shell carrying enough force to shred a drone into fragments. The gunner couldn't see the drones, only hear their buzzing motors. He fired blindly at the sound, sweeping rounds across the horizon. The Rybaka weaved hard left, shells exploding dangerously close. Pushing its engines to the limit, the drone accelerated past 430 kilometers per hour, barely slipping through. But the damage was done. The gunfire had alerted every Russian position within 10 kilometers. Messages spread across telegram channels faster than the military's own radios. Surprise was gone. Moments later, the operator's video feed filled with static. Hidden power lines loomed at the last second. The drone yanked upward, clearing 110,000 volts with just 2 meters to spare. Compass readings spun wildly, screens flickered, and for 3 terrifying seconds, the operator was flying blind. A radio tower appeared out of the gloom, another near-death dodge. Behind the lead Rybaka, 2 more slipped through, while 4 heavy Bobr drones took a northern route, slower but carrying devastating warheads. Russian defenses were ready. A Repellent 1 jammer blasted the skies with 400 watts of electromagnetic noise. 1 drone's feed went black, but the Ukrainians had planned for this. Pre-programmed waypoints kicked in, letting the drone fly autonomously through the electronic storm. Minutes later, its feed returned, still on course, but a Russian BTR-82 armored vehicle blocked the road ahead, its machine gun spraying in preset patterns. The operator dipped into an industrial zone for cover, only to find Russian troops rushing out like an anthill under attack. Flying low, the drones used Earth's curvature to hide in radar blind spots. Still, 1 Rybaka was shredded by concentrated fire, spiraling into a parking lot and detonating. The remaining drones had no room for mistakes. Then came the nightmare. Cresting a ridge, the operator's screen filled with something unexpected, a Pantsir air defense system. In seconds, it fired 6 missiles designed specifically to SWAT drones. Each carried a fragmentation warhead of tungsten spheres that would expand into a lethal cloud. The Russian operator used staggered altitudes to form a 3-dimensional box of death. But the Ukrainian pilot knew Pantsir's weakness, a 1.2-second arming delay. Diving straight at the launchers, the Rybaka slipped under the missiles before they armed, using Russia's own safety protocols as a shield. Leveling out at just 5 meters, the drone locked onto the Podlet K-1 radar, the system feeding data to every launcher in a 200-kilometer radius. The Pantsir's cannons opened fire, spewing 10,000 rounds per minute, but calculation lag doomed them. The system needed 3.5 seconds to lock on, while the drone changed direction every 2 seconds. The Rybaka slammed into the radar antenna, its shaped charge using the Monroe effect to punch molten copper through armor, shredding the system in seconds. Another drone struck the P-18 spoon rest early warning radar. Pantsir gunners tried switching to thermal imaging, but Dawn's shifting air layers created heat distortions. The drones, with minimal heat signatures, appeared as cold spots or vanished entirely. Bursts of fire filled the sky, but none connected. Within minutes, both radars were gone. Suddenly, the Russian corvette 4 kilometers offshore was blind. Its defensive shield had collapsed. The ship's own radar could only see 40 kilometers, giving it under 2 minutes warning. Worse, the system struggled to distinguish low-flying drones from ocean waves, filtering them out as false targets. The corvette unleashed its AK-630 M2 close-in weapon system, spewing 10,000 rounds per minute. But designed for massive, predictable anti-ship missiles, it was like using a sledgehammer against swarming hummingbirds. The drone's erratic movements made computer predictions useless. Not a single hit landed. Electronic countermeasures followed, chaff clouds and full-spectrum jamming. To missiles, it would have worked, but these drones were manually piloted with frequency-hopping control links. At worst, the video feed dropped from high definition to low resolution, still good enough to strike. Desperate, the captain ordered evasive maneuvers. But a 950-ton ship takes 15 seconds to turn. The drones pivoted in milliseconds. The Ukrainian operators timed their attack during the steady moments between S-turns. The first Bober dove straight into the ship's radar mast, erasing its communication and targeting systems instantly. The second aimed for the missile magazine. At the perfect angle, its shaped charge punched molten copper through the bulkhead, igniting hydraulic fluid, electrical systems, and missile handling gear. Fires erupted as coolant lines burst, and 8 Kalibr missiles were left disabled, armed but unfired. The corvette limped back to port 12 hours later, blackened and smoking, its hull torn open. Repairs would take at least 18 months, if replacement parts could even be found under sanctions. The Kalibr missiles meant for Ukrainian cities never launched. A $500 million warship was crippled by drones built with parts from online marketplaces like Alibaba, flown by Ukrainian operators sitting 300 kilometers away. This wasn't just an attack, it was a message.